Number 9. Costume design as character storytelling. Fashion in this film was never merely decorative. Legendary costume designer Cecil Beaton approached Eliza's wardrobe as a visual language that tracked her psychological and social transformation throughout the story. Every outfit communicated something essential about where she stood in her journey from flower girl to refined lady. Each costume change marked a shift in identity and self-perception. Early scenes featured rough, simple clothing that reflected Eliza's humble origins and working-class background. As she transformed, her wardrobe became increasingly sophisticated, mirroring her growing confidence and changing place in society. The clothes told the story even when dialogue did not. Speaking through fabric and form, Beaton's designs became iconic in their own right, influencing fashion trends and earning widespread acclaim from critics and audiences alike. The black and white ascot ensemble remains one of the most recognized costumes in cinema history. Through fabric, color, and silhouette, the film demonstrated how clothing could function as storytelling. Eliza's external transformation made her internal growth visible and tangible for viewers. Number 10. The ballroom scene engineering. The ascot racing sequence stands as one of the most visually striking moments in musical film history. Yet, its power comes not from elaborate choreography or explosive energy. Instead, the scene relies on precision, restraint, and carefully orchestrated stillness. Movement is minimal, but every gesture carries tremendous weight and meaning. Director George Cukor understood that silence and rhythm could be more impactful than spectacle. The aristocratic guests move in coordinated patterns, their expressions frozen in practiced indifference. The visual uniformity creates an almost surreal atmosphere that highlights the rigid social codes Eliza must navigate to gain acceptance. It feels like a carefully staged performance within a performance. Despite its apparent simplicity, the sequence required complex coordination and meticulous timing from everyone on set. Every extra had to hit precise marks while maintaining the illusion of effortless elegance. The restraint became the scene's greatest visual power, creating tension through what was held back rather than what was shown. It remains a masterclass in controlled cinematic staging that filmmakers still study today. Number 11. Emotional distance on set. Chemistry between leading actors can make or break a film. In the case of this production, the relationship between Audrey Hepburn and Rex Harrison remained strictly professional throughout filming. There was no natural warmth or easy camaraderie between them when cameras stopped rolling. They respected each other as professionals, but never developed a genuine personal connection. This emotional distance was apparent to those working on set. The two stars rarely socialized between takes and kept their interactions focused on the work at hand. Some crew members noticed a coolness that extended beyond mere professionalism. Whether due to personality differences or the pressures of production, a genuine bond never formed between the film's two most important performers. Interestingly, this lack of off-screen chemistry subtly influenced their on-screen dynamic in unexpected ways. The formal distance between Hepburn and Harrison translated into performances that felt appropriately restrained and complex. Their characters were never meant to share easy romantic warmth, and the real-life tension added an authenticity that served the story well. What might have been a limitation became an unintentional asset that deepened the film's emotional texture. Number 12. Harrison's difficult reputation. Stories about difficult actors are common in Hollywood, and Rex Harrison certainly earned his share of such tales. His reputation on set stemmed primarily from personality traits rather than technical shortcomings. He was known for possessing supreme confidence, a considerable ego, and a commanding presence that could intimidate those around him. He expected things done his way. Unlike some actors whose difficult behavior results from endless retakes or forgotten lines, Harrison was remarkably efficient in his craft. He arrived prepared and delivered his performances with precision and control. The challenges he presented were interpersonal rather than professional. He could be demanding, particular, and uncompromising in his expectations of those working alongside him on the production. The tension Harrison created came from his need for control over his environment and his work. Cast and crew learned to navigate his personality carefully, understanding that keeping him comfortable was essential for smooth production days. Despite the difficulties, his talent was undeniable, and his portrayal of Higgins became definitive. The price of working with a perfectionist was worth paying for the performance he ultimately delivered to audiences worldwide. Number 13, a Broadway adaptation war. Adapting a beloved stage production for cinema always invites scrutiny. Theater purists watched the development of this film with concern, worried that Hollywood would strip away what made the original Broadway production so special. Changes made for the screen sparked criticism before audiences even had a chance to see the finished product. The adaptation faced skepticism from its earliest announcements. Many devoted fans of the stage version feared that commercial pressures would dilute the musical spirit and intelligence. The casting of Audrey Hepburn over Julie Andrews intensified these concerns considerably. Critics argued that prioritizing star power over theatrical authenticity signaled a fundamental misunderstanding of what made the story work. The production team found themselves defending creative choices at every turn throughout development. The film essentially had to fight for cultural legitimacy before it ever reached theaters, proving that a Hollywood adaptation could honor its source material while creating something cinematically unique became an unspoken mission for everyone involved. The pressure to satisfy both purists and general audiences shaped countless decisions during production. Success would require threading a needle that many believed impossible to navigate. Number 14, a cultural reset for musicals. The impact of this film extended far beyond its own success at the box office. It fundamentally redefined what a prestige musical could look like in Hollywood. The combination of lavish production values, serious dramatic performances, and enormous financial investment created a new template that studios would chase for years afterwards. The industry took notice immediately following the movie's triumph. Studios increasingly shifted towards large-scale, expensive musical productions. Executives believed that only massive investments could yield comparable returns and prestige. This philosophy influenced everything from casting decisions to set design across the industry. The era of modest, intimate musicals began fading rapidly as bigger became synonymous with better in the minds of studio leadership. The economic consequences for the genre proved lasting and significant. Smaller productions struggled to find backing as resources flowed towards potential blockbusters instead. The middle ground between intimate character pieces and spectacular epics virtually disappeared. While the film's success was celebrated, it inadvertently created conditions that would eventually contribute to the classic musical's decline in subsequent decades. Number 15. Filming in extreme conditions. The elegance visible on screen masked grueling physical realities endured by cast and crew throughout production. Heavy period costumes weighed down performers, restricting movement and trapping body heat under intense studio lighting. What appeared effortless and graceful required tremendous physical stamina to achieve. The glamour came at a considerable personal cost. Long production days stretched endurance to its limits for everyone involved. Elaborate scenes required multiple takes under hot lights while maintaining perfect composure. Audrey Hepburn in particular faced exhausting demands as the production center. Her dedication to the role meant pushing through discomfort that would have broken less committed performers. The visual elegance audiences enjoyed hid real physical strain that accumulated over months of filming. Crew members worked extended hours building and maintaining the elaborate sets and costumes. The pursuit of perfection left little room for complaints or shortcuts. Every beautiful frame represented countless hours of uncomfortable labor, transforming physical endurance into cinematic art that would be appreciated for generations to come. Number 16, the Oscar campaign machine. Award season success rarely happens by accident in Hollywood. Warner Brothers understood this reality and launched one of the most aggressive Oscar campaigns the industry had seen up to that point. The studio invested heavily in promoting the film, not just as entertainment, but as a cultural achievement worthy of recognition. Every aspect of the campaign was calculated for maximum impact and designed to leave a lasting impression on Academy voters. Prestige branding became as important as the movie itself during this period. The studio positioned the production as the pinnacle of cinematic artistry, emphasizing its lavish production values and distinguished performances. Advertisements, screenings,